Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Dr. Strong, and today I'm just going to talk about part of what I'm doing in my new live training that's coming out on December 7th. Just one of the concepts in it, okay? So I'm going to go over it more then, but just to kind of talk about what makes the training unique and makes it different, right? So especially with what the group is about, like female hormones and weight loss. But there's a lot more to that. So a lot of the times people have tried diet and exercise only to lose weight for a little while, but then to gain it right back. And it's a really common problem. And I've been thinking about, how do you solve that problem? How do you keep people committed and motivated to do the actual work, or to keep the support system there for them so that they can achieve their goal, right? And so how the healthcare system, how I view it is kind of like a triangle. It's kind of like this. So in the past, it's been more physical, with more like physical labor, right? So a lot more of people were getting probably a little bit more injured, or they had to do more physical activities for the work environment. You know, especially way back when the health was more revolving around the physical aspects of it, right? And then it's kind of transitioned, and now you have like biochemical, which is nutrition, diet. There's been 80,000 new chemicals released into the environment since World War II. So that puts a lot more stress on our systems than it used to. So now we're having to battle that and having to really understand how that's influencing us. Plus our nutrition probably isn't as good as it used to be. There's a lot more man-made foods. We're not eating as organic as we used to. But here's what I really want to talk about today. And it's emotional, right? So I think we've seen like swings, especially with everything that's happened with COVID. And, you know, in the past, it's went from physical to biochemical with like all the release, and now it's like emotional. So it's probably like, in the past, it's probably like 70% that. I'm sure there was some emotional components. I'm just speculating here. And then, you know, in the last couple of years, it's been like biochemical, like 70%. People still have physical ailments, but, you know, we're seeing more people with more chronic conditions, which is biochemistry. Take, for example, diabetes, heart disease, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, biochemical issues. And then last, we have like emotional. And I think now with pandemics, elections, everything else, a lot more people are emotional. And it could be, this could have been a huge component always, right? Maybe it is, because this is kind of like a state trooper comes up behind you. What happens? You get a thought in your head or an emotion, and then that causes your BP to increase, your heart rate to increase. It causes you to secrete cortisol. So if you don't have like a really good regulation of this system, of your emotional system, of like your limbic system in your brain, then it can affect your biochemistry. Your biochemistry can affect you physically. And a lot of people don't take this into account. I actually had a case where a lady had moved to the area, and they had bought a house and they were rehabbing it. And she just woke up with this incredible sciatic pain. And nobody could really figure it out. She'd been to ortho, MRIs, everything. And they were like, we don't know what's going on. And then I started working with her, and what we actually had her do for sciatic pain. Okay, so I know it seems crazy, but it worked. So I actually had her start journaling and doing emotional releases and talking to her husband. Because the stress of moving, the new house, and just the stress put on her and on her husband was causing this physical manifestation of sciatic pain, okay? And you may think that's crazy, but I see it way more commonly, especially when people get a little bit better handle on their emotions, then they tend to do a lot better in their biochemistry and physically. So now, I didn't really mean to go down that road, but I think it's important for you to understand what's coming next. So one thing that we have to ask is, I've talked about in the past, so we have point A, who you are now, and then you have point B, and that's who you want to become. So who you want to become, and then who you are now, okay? So we aren't the highest versions of ourselves which we imagine, right? Because it's like, if I imagine myself, I'm like a Greek god like Thor or Chris Hemsworth, or somebody else we kind of think about ourselves in that fashion, right? And that's where you want to be. That's point B. And then we have the lowest version of ourselves, which is like point A. So, and that's kind of like who we're in constant battle with. This is the person that's like, oh, I can never get there. I can never do that. I can never accomplish that. And I see this with my patients, and when they're really battling like a health condition, or they're battling, let's say, for weight loss, anything like that. And what we have to do is we have to figure out, how do you become this person right here? So that comes back to kind of like having a coach, right? Or having somebody to work with to see it from an outside view. And they need to tell you, because you may know all the steps to get from point A to point B. And let's take weight loss, for example. You may know all the steps to get there, but are you taking action on them, right? You may have the knowledge. Even if you don't have the knowledge, then that's where you go and seek that knowledge, right? So to do this, what we have to say is, what am I doing now that isn't congruent with this person here, right? So for weight loss, okay, if you really are self-critical and think about this, okay, maybe you're not stabilizing your blood sugar, okay? Maybe you're eating poor nutrition. Maybe you're not exercising. Maybe you're exercising too much, okay? That can cause an issue as well. And you have to say, what actions is this person taking that this person wouldn't? Or what actions is this person not taking that this person wouldn't? Like, for example, I want to be like Chris Hemsworth, right? I'm probably going to have to eat super clean, probably going to have to exercise, probably give up some things that I enjoy right now. And that could be, maybe I probably have to stop seeing patients, which I don't want to do, to go train and move to Hollywood and do all these sorts of things and dye my hair blonde and grow it out and, do all these other kind of extremes. But, it's like, okay, what if I'm just happy like here, right? What if this is like B.5? And I can do some of those things and get to there and be super happy and I'm content here, right? And then I just adopt some of the things, but I can still be like who I am and what I want to do, but just adopt the traits that I really admire in that person. And so, who is someone that you admire and that you would imagine yourself to be, and that can be congruent and that can help you get there, right? Like, I've got my own weight loss story. I've had my own health issues. So most of the time I know how to get here. I know how to get healthy. I know how to lose weight. I know how to balance hormones and all these other things. But a lot of the times you're just in this loop, and this is kind of where the mental, emotional side comes in. So we are always becoming somebody. Life is never static, or it's never set in one place. So I'm going to make this. So who you are, and then who you are becoming. Okay. And then it kind of looks like, so it kind of goes like this, right? You're always becoming somebody, but who you're becoming always feeds back into you. So now this isn't an original concept for me, but it's It's from one of my mentors who's a very, very smart guy, very successful. And I've applied these principles not in the way that he does it, but in a patient care kind of neurological, emotional aspect. So do you know who you're becoming, or do you know who you want to become? How we do this in regards to weight loss is, I want to be somebody who's 20 pounds lighter than I am right now. And you have to ask, so who you are now and the actions that you're taking, so this is actions, are those congruent with who you want to become, right? And then you get feedback, right? So this is the great thing about life. You get feedback. And it says, oh, well, I either lost a pound or I gained a pound. And then that tells you, this feedback tells you about your actions. And your actions are not congruent with who you want to become, right? This thought of who you're becoming. And the feedback is like, I gained a pound, and that's who you are, so now you're a pound heavier. You know that you need to intervene here, right? You're like, oh, I'm doing something wrong. I need to do something different. That wasn't appropriate feedback. And what you need to do now is you need to say, okay, let me retest, let me do something different. So now it's like, oh, well, I'm going to go walk for 30 minutes every day. And then it's like, oh, I lost a pound. So it's like, yay, positive feedback. And then it's like, now I'm going to walk every day. And then it's like, oh, now I've lost 5 pounds in a week. And you're like, okay, if I keep this up and I want to lose, that was probably way too fast for you to lose weight. But let's say you lose 5 pounds a month, which is totally doable, and you want to lose 20 pounds in 4 months, you're there, right? Super simple. And that's how this feedback mechanism works. And you need to understand this to really understand yourself and to understand how to get where you want to go. Because it's one of these things that we take for granted because it's way simpler than we think it is. And we think that we need like a crazy diet plan. This new diet is the right thing. We need to do these crazy new exercise routine. We need to take this supplement. We need to do all this different things. But it's the simple, basic actions that actually work the best. And that's what I've found in my clinic and with my patients and my biggest success stories. And it's retraining them how to do this, how to think, how to control their emotions, and really defining who they want to be and where they're going, right? Because this gives us a roadmap. And then what I do is I'm like, hey, let's plug and play this into your action steps, and then let's get feedback. And you're like, ooh, I feel really good. Or sometimes it happens, they're like, I don't feel that good, or I want to feel better, so let's keep going. So this video is getting a little bit long, but I hope that kind of helps you understand about how to use feedback, how to take action, and how to define who you are and who you're becoming, and use those to your advantage. So if you like this video, found it helpful, like this video, comment below with any questions that you have, and yeah, so give me some suggestions for other videos. If you have questions about this, then just let me know. But I promise you, it's this simple. It is not complicated, okay? We just like to make things complicated because we're humans, all right? So hope you enjoy this video. Have a good day.